Hey guys, Comet here. Welcome to the first episode of my Captain of Industry series. Let's go ahead and jump into a new game here. So we've got some maps to pick from. New Haven, the beach, Curl Land, Golden Peak. I think this one's the new one, Insula Mortis, and then You Shall Not Pass. New Haven's kind of boring for me. I've done a lot of the beach. I've never actually tried Curl Land. I think Golden Peak is my favorite. I've never actually tried this one because it's new, but I think this one will give the most interesting gameplay. So we'll go ahead and do You Shall Not Pass. And then for resource size, I like to make the resources a little bit bigger and then bury them a little bit deeper. For forest size, now I know on this map, I have had problems in the past of running out of wood just before I was able to get my offshore wood going, so I think I'm going to do slightly more trees. I'm not going to touch the cliff height, but I'm going to add some extra ocean chunks, because if we look at how much stone is actually, or how much rock is actually on this map, 71,000, so that gives us a lot of debris to just push into the ocean to make more space to build on. So I'm going to go ahead and add those extra ocean chunks. I'm not going to change the floor decline. That's just going to make it more difficult to fill in some of the ocean. Let's see, difficulty, no, I am not a sailor. I am definitely a captain. No extra starting materials. I don't think I want to change any of these except world mine deposits. I don't like having to set up this super elaborate system to allow ships back and forth just to have it all deplete on me. So I'm going to do 100% increased because that's the smallest increase I can do. Unlimited, no. Because you do eventually get to the point where you can be completely self-sustaining just by trading. And I just want to buy myself a little bit more time before I have to do that. For game seed, it doesn't matter. I can just re-roll that a couple of times. Let's see, what is next? Tutorial. No, I am the tutorial. Mods included. No, okay. New game. Here we go. Alright. Welcome, Captain. We have found the island we've been searching for. It was not on the map. Our ship took a lot of damage, and we will need major repairs in order to sail again, but we should be safe here. Besides our initial supplies, we are starting from scratch. We should start manufacturing construction parts to be able to build our infrastructure, grow food to feed our people, and find a way to make fuel for our vehicles. The island looks abandoned, but it has plenty of natural resources that we can use. There are even some abandoned buildings around that we could disassemble for scrap. Also, we should set up a research lab so we can reinvent all the technologies we took for granted for so long. We found out about a settlement nearby we can trade with in case we run out of something. That's actually going to be really important, because we're going to do a lot of trading. They can deliver the goods to us once we have a trading dock. The entire crew is counting on you, after everything we have been through together. Good luck. Alright. So the first thing we're going to do is press pause so the day stops counting. And I'd like to map out my roads. So go ahead and block this off, and then I think it only needs to be 3 wide. Yeah, let's do 3 wide. And then out this way, because we need to get over to this beach for sand and dumping stuff. But now that I have this in place, I know exactly where I can put my research lab. And I like to build 3 of these, but oh, make sure planning mode is always on. Build you, and you. And these are going to be built right away, so let's go ahead and unpause those. Next, for housing, I know I'm going to put one here and here. This food market is in the way, but I can't move it yet. Otherwise, I will actually run out of construction parts, because I have this down to so thin of margins that I can't afford to screw anything up. You'll see in a second. So the next thing we'll need is a blast furnace. Here and here. Coal maker. Right about there. And then these are going to share an exhaust. And I can just throw one onto the coal maker there. No big deal. Let's go ahead and pipe these together. And then for the output of these blast furnaces, it's molten iron, which we need to then cast down into plates. And that's what these buildings will do. And then let's go ahead and get these all connected up using the molten channel. All right. And now these, it's important to set to on and on in the beginning. Actually, well, all of these. Truck import can actually be off, though. Trucks can't actually transport molten iron, so I don't even know why this is an option. But by turning truck export on, it allows the internal buffers of these machines to fill up higher, so you don't have to build quite as many storage buildings, which we haven't quite unlocked yet. Speaking of unlocking things, this is the upgrade path I like to take. So construction, into mining, into farming. Because we start off with 47, well, I think it's 48, but people already ate some. So we start off with basically 4 years of food. So we don't need to go straight into farming. We can get away with doing these few other researches first. Then basic farming. Let's see, we want a beacon next. And then before we run out of bricks, we're going to need some way of making more. And then before we run out of diesel, we'll need a way of making that. And then I think from here, I normally do vehicle ramps, because diesel entails a lot of pipes. So we need a way to get our trucks up and over. Then construction 2. We want to rush concrete. And then we can go ahead and do some belts. And then maybe the ship and storage. And I think that will last us for the whole episode. Alright, so I'm going to copy this just as a placeholder here. One there, and one there. So these 3 are ready to go. Once I press space, the trucks will work on that. I don't want to assign anything to my tree harvester yet. Well, I can tell it to harvest some trees, but I'm not going to assign a truck yet because I want all of the trucks to focus on finishing building these with the construction parts we have right now. So I'll let them go. And speed up the game a little bit. Alright, those will get built. Then the next thing I unpause is all of this. And let that get built. Tree harvester has no truck assigned. It's going to complain about that for a while, but that's fine. Once all of these trucks get this built, we'll be fine. Then I'll go ahead and assign them. And then I should probably also tell them to start recycling this. This is how we get all of the early game scrap and bricks. Scrap we'll throw into here, combine it with some coal, that's how we get the molten iron. Alright, so it looks like everything's been delivered here, these are auto building. Now I can assign a truck here, and I think I'll assign 2 trucks. So now a truck can pick up this log from this harvester, and take it over to the coal maker. And this should also have truck import and export on. Oh, it looks like we just finished construction. That's important, because now we can start making assembly machines. So I want to place them in such a way to where I won't have to deconstruct and rebuild a lot of things, because there's actually a penalty for deconstructing things. You don't get 100% of the materials back. And on the end of all of these, I want to have room for a storage container, which is 5 by 5, but if we count the blocks on this assembly machine, it's actually 6 by 5. So right here, that would be the storage container and the belt that feeds the storage container. Then we would need 1 space for a belt, and then we could put down the assembly machine. The problem is that one of these here has to be copper, and copper has an extra step on top of this metal caster. Now, I don't have it unlocked yet, but it's about this big. So if I actually plan, here, let me press X on that and that'll cut it. If I plan from this spot instead, that would be the storage container, which means I wouldn't be able to fit the assembly machines in until right about here. So let's drag this over to here. Get 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's a good reason for doing 4. It might not be evident yet, but it will be soon. Get rid of that. Now we only want to unlock and allow them to build 3 of them. Because if we look at how many materials we have, 79. These cost 25 to build, so that is going to be 75 construction parts, which leaves us with 4. So this is perfectly calibrated at this point. Alright, I'll let this sim for a little bit, let them build these. Oh, I can actually preset the recipes in here, and I'm going to turn truck import and export on as well for these. And even though this one's not building, I can go ahead and get things ready for it. Now, if I had built these, this waste collection and this food market, too soon, I wouldn't have had enough parts to finish the machines that keep making the parts. So it's important to do things in this order. And eventually I will move this to here once I unlock farming. I don't actually need this space yet, so it's fine to wait. Alright, we just got vehicles and mining, so let me pause the game. Take stock of what we have. Mine control tower, I'm gonna need 2 of these. 1 here. That's gonna be 3 tiles away from the research lab. And that's just so that I can fit some piping through here. And it also unlocked the vehicle depot. So this is how we make more vehicles. And I think I'm gonna put it right about here. And then immediately, I wanna get a excavator queued. The problem is that the excavator is gonna require a truck. And that leaves us with 60 more of these vehicle parts. So we can go ahead and make another excavator and then another truck. And this is the order I like to do everything in, and then turn truck import on. And then I'll go ahead and unpause that so that all of the newly made construction parts get put into here. Well, actually, wait a minute. Maybe I'm gonna pause that and turn this one on. That way all of the new parts go into making another machine to make new parts. And I think that will get everything going a little bit faster. And then over here, yeah, I don't care about any of this stuff. I just want the trucks to be able to dump waste here. And I don't actually need to build this mine control tower in order for trucks to dump here. So I can go ahead and edit the area that this tower controls. And then I can give some commands for dumping. So I only want them to dump in this area here at a height of 1 above sea level. And then later I'll come back over the top of that and maybe fill it in with sand just to make it look nicer. But it's not really a problem yet because we're not even collecting any waste. This hasn't been built. And then the second place I'm going to need a tower is over here. And this one does need to be built. But I don't care about any of this. I don't want any dumping, and don't notify me about anything, please. This area is about like that. And then I'll go ahead and designate some digging in here. And then I don't want to eat too far into the hillside here, because I do actually need to build up here. And if I make the ground too unstable, things could break when they fall. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then once Once this gets built and the excavators get built, then I'll go ahead and let the trucks build this mine control tower. But I think for now I just need to let it sim for a while. Alright, that completes basic farming. So that unlocks this. And I like to build this just right up against the housing here. Like this. And eventually these farms will be moved and this space will be used for housing. But for now, this is like the best spot for farms, so I gotta put them here. And it looks like the fourth one here was finished. So let's go ahead and unpause this. Let them work on that. Power and maintenance. Alright, so that unlocks a few things for us. We've got the maintenance depot, which we don't need quite yet, but we will. And I'm just gonna block off 2 spaces for it, but I'm only gonna use the 1 for now. We need power, and this is just gonna be temporary, so let's put 1 here. And all this generator is gonna do in the beginning is power this 1 maintenance depot. See, it takes 25 kilowatts. This produces 180, so that's fine. We're also going to need the generator to power the beacon, which we are currently researching, and that's how we add to our population, on top of just natural reproduction. So right now, we've got 90 population, and our 2 settlements here can hold 70 each. So we don't actually need to expand yet. We've got plenty of space for all these people. Oh, it looks like our first excavator is done. So what I need to do is unpause this, assign an excavator, and then it's going to complain that it doesn't have a compatible truck. So I'll go ahead and assign 2 trucks to that. And then it's really important to make sure the mining priority here is set to coal. All right, I'll let that run for a while. Ah, and there's the beacon. Beautiful. So this you could actually just throw anywhere on the map. It doesn't really matter. I kind of like to use it as a lighthouse. So I'll get that going. And it's important to get the beacon kind of semi-early, because it's your only source of early copper and diesel before you can really get things going. And this is why I always assign 2 trucks to the first excavator, because sometimes they're going to dig up dirt. And for now, I don't want to set up any dumping locations for dirt, because we're actually going to need that dirt to make bricks. And rather than digging it up, dumping it, and then digging it up again, I just let the truck kind of act as a storage buffer. Oh, and it looks like we just got the trading dock, which gives us unit storage and the trading dock. So the trading dock usually fits pretty nicely right here, and I'll go ahead and get them to work on that. And I should probably allow that to work so that our beacon has power. And now that we are mining coal out of this, we don't actually need this coal maker. That means all of our wood can now go into construction parts, because turning wood into coal is actually very, very inefficient. And then I'm actually going to put a storage container here, because I need to stockpile some wood so that I can actually trade with the other village. And oh, it looks like another excavator's done. So we'll go ahead and copy this mine control tower, and that's going to copy all of the settings inside of it as well. Go ahead and place it here. Allow this to be built, and then edit the... No, we don't need to edit the area. We need to add some designations. So just start eating away at the hillside. And this should have... Yep, it comes with a excavator and 2 trucks pre-assigned, because that was the assignment on this one. And that will allow us to do this recipe now in the blast furnace, which takes iron ore and coal, turns it into molten ore and slag. So it's almost the same as the iron scrap recipe, just with a byproduct now. And it's important to move on to this one because we don't have too much scrap left. Oh, and it looks like we just got bricks as well. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna need, let me actually pause the game again. I don't like it simming in the background while I'm building. We can get a harvester here. That will then feed into Brickworks here, but I'm gonna come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because once we finish basic diesel, that gives us fluid storage, which is a 5x5, so it'll fit right in this gap perfectly. And then I'll go ahead and get some exhaust set up on that. And, okay, they built that and that. Looks like they built that. So I'll go ahead and allow them to build this now. And so that will be how we resupply our bricks for now. And it looks like we just got some refugees. So refugees always bring copper, rubber, a little bit of scrap, and diesel. And diesel's very important, so it's a good thing that they bring that, because it's actually going to take us a while to get diesel going, just because of how far away it is from the coast. So if we look at the layers here, this little black spot is all of the crude oil. So there's kind of two options. Well, there's three, but only two real ones. Option one is to take the crude oil. Oh, and there's not enough maintenance. That's not good. That's because we never finished building this. Okay. So option one is to take the crude oil on a really long journey over to the shore, process it here, and then dump all of our waste into the ocean. Option two is to process the diesel over here by the crude oil, but then we still need a really long pipe to get rid of all the waste. So option three, which I don't really like, is to process the diesel here and then have trucks export all of the wastewater. The problem with that is that trucks take diesel. So the more we can offload from the trucks, the more we'll save on diesel. And because this crude oil patch only has 50,000 crude oil, it's very limited, so we want to try and save as much diesel as possible. That means leaving transportation up to conveyor belts and pipes. So I think we're going to go with the first option, which is mining the crude oil, well, pumping the crude oil, putting it in a pipe, running it all the way to the coast over here, and then processing it over here, because there's a nice little area over here to fit all of the machinery. And then that wastewater will come right through this little gap that I made and dump out into the ocean. And there is basic diesel. So that unlocks a few things for us, actually. We've got a liquid dump. Go ahead and get that right about there. We get the fluid storage. So that will get our Brickworks online. And I'm actually going to turn truck export off here. I want them to pick up from the fluid storage. And I've got some new refugees, more diesel, beautiful. And I think I'll let one more influx of refugees before I disable the beacon, because we'll start to reach our population cap here. So crude oil also unlocked these oil pumps and a basic distiller. So I want to get these down and start pumping some diesel. We're not going to do that. We're going to do this. I'll get this in place. This tree is in the way. Can't see what I'm doing. Get that connected, and that connected. So the ratio on oil, let me show you here. This will produce 18 every 60. And this is something that this game does very well that I wish other games would do. This produces 18 every 60. And then if we look at the distiller, it's 54 every 60. So both of these recipes are normalized to 60-second cycles, which is beautiful. It makes all of the math so much easier. So this takes 54, and each of these produces 18. So it's 54 divided by 18, that gives us 3 oil pumps. So that's why I'm building them in this ratio here. The distiller, though, will be back over here in this area. Why am I low on food? That is not good. I never built the farm. That would help. See, I also got... Okay, perfect. I also got some ramps. So we're gonna need a ramp right here at this output. Settlement is also full of... I am not paying attention here. Need to get that built. This should be set to trash only. Yes, okay. We'll be fine. It's okay. Just minor issues here. And that looks like our last bit of refugees here. So I'll go ahead and pause this. I don't want to let anyone new in. I should be emptying trash. I should be growing food. And I should turn truck export on that as well. Now, I wish there was an easier way to see like exactly how many farms you need per population. But because of the fertility of the soil, you kind of have to do all of the math every time you build a new farm. Let's see, it looks like we got copper refinement, so let me double check my spacing here. So what this recipe is, to make the better copper, it takes... Oh, actually, that's going to give me some problems. Because of truck pathing, I have to put it on this side. It's going to take the impure copper that this metalcaster makes, add it to some water, and then you get pure copper. So you lose a little bit of copper in the process. That's just how copper works in this game. And so if we go ahead and map out some storage here, it looks like it's not going to interfere with my machines here. Perfect. So what I'm doing right now, I'm just letting these construction parts build up, and it looks like they're all already full, which is perfect. Looks like this needs to be set to wood. And can I trade with some villages yet? Yeah, not setting this to wood when it finished kind of hurt me here. Because now I have no stockpiled wood to trade with villages. So what we need to do now is allow this to be built. And then run this crude oil pipe on a long, very long journey down just on the other side of this coal here. Yeah, look at that. There we go. And then maybe about here. We can turn and come down right next to these assemblers. And then it's going to come to about here, and then it's going to turn across the road and make its way into the basic distiller here. So this, I want things to be tight to save space, but not too tight to where I kind of don't have any room for expansion. So we're going to come across, I don't know, maybe about here. And then get that plugged in. And then the trucks will need a ramp to get over that. So we'll go ahead and let that build. Let that build. And then the wastewater is just going to come down here. And out. Like that. And then I don't know why I need to set a recipe on this. That it doesn't make any sense. Just dump whatever I put into it. I guess it's because you could theoretically import with trucks. And so you don't want your trucks just to be dumping a bunch of water from your storage. Yeah, okay, fine. That makes sense. Whatever. We'll turn that off. Okay. And then we need one more ramp. Probably about here. And then just to make sure they can get through for now, because they can't actually drive through ghosts, which really bugs me. I don't know why trucks can't drive through ghost buildings, but leaving the piping here before the ramps actually get built could lead to deadlocks. So I'm just going to remove that piping for now. And then, so I want them to finish the ramps first, then the piping. So I'll let that sim. Pickup cannot reach destination. Yep, that's one of the errors you can get. It's because this ramp hasn't been built yet. You know what? Fine. I'll just Unity build them. You should have a path now. Yes, there you go. And now that this is full of wood, I'm gonna go ahead and trade with this village. I need some bricks, and I need some concrete slabs. And before brickworks was a thing, this was like the only way to get through the early game. You had to cut down trees and then trade with a village. That was the only way to get concrete slabs before you researched concrete. It still kind of feels like a band-aid. I think maybe just moving concrete to be sooner in the tech tree might solve that, but then it might also create other problems. I'm not sure, but this is what we have to do for now. So it looks like these pumps are going. I'll go ahead and unpause the pipeline. That should do the whole thing. Yep. Let's do you, and you, and you, and I don't know why that didn't go. And then all of this, and this, and that. And I don't actually need to unpause this. Dumping sites work with a ghost mine tower, but excavation sites don't. And it looks like our tree harvester is out of trees. Let's go ahead and assign you some more trees. Go ahead and cut all of those down for me, thank you. Oh, it looks like we also got some rubber here, synthetic rubber. Yeah, that unlocked the rubber maker, but we're not going to need rubber for a while, so I'm not even going to worry about that. And this is still mad at me about food. So I guess I'll go ahead and unpause the other farm. That's going to take up 10 more of my workers. Looks like I've got 28 free. 27 now. And then once the diesel gets built, I think the next thing I'm going to need are more trucks. But I'll let these keep working. Looks like we've still got a few more bricks in here. We're completely out of iron. So all of our iron now has to come from over here. That means we need to be careful about filling up on slag, because now we're using this other recipe. It looks like we just got construction 2. That's actually quite a ways out still. Can't do much with that. I can plan out how I want to do this though. So for construction parts 2, I think the way I want to do this, I'll go ahead and put some storage here. And then right here, 3, I'm going to get 4 of these, and then if we look at the recipe actually, for construction parts 2, it takes 6 construction parts and 3 electronics. And I told you that having 4 of these was important, and that's because of the ratio of electronics. So these only need 3, but they can make 4. So if we have 4 here, requesting 3 each, then all we need over here is 1, 2, 3, and these can supply 12. So with this ratio, it's 4 to 3, and everything will be perfectly balanced. And then it looks like we need construction part 2 to make the electric assemblies. And why is this complaining? Oh, you don't have an output. Well, you shouldn't even be processing anything yet. Whatever. Oh, I know what the problem is. Truck export here should be off. Off, off. That way there's no way for trucks to even pick up crude oil. So the only thing that will be delivered here is the coal. So we can do on and on. And see how this starts working now? when I did truck export. So the internal buffer was full, but because I turned truck export on, it increased that buffer, so now there's space. So this is going to fill up to the next threshold. Alright, we got concrete production. That'll take me a second to explain. I guess now's a better time than any. So concrete is made in this concrete mixer. Who would have thought? And if we look at the recipe here, we've got two options. This gravel one's not that great. We want to use the slag crush one, because this allows us to get rid of all of the slag that we are accumulating in our blast furnaces. It's going to take 1.5 cement, 3 sand, and 9 slag crush. So then, if we come over here to this rotary kiln, and we look at the ratios on it, it can make 3 cement. So for every 1 rotary kiln, we need 2 concrete mixers. This also needs 3 sand. So we make the sand in a rock crusher here. This can make 8. So we have 2 surplus. Now if we look at the other part, we need slag crush. So these are making slag, but we need to crush that slag in a rock crusher to make slag crush. And this makes 24. So this is a really simple ratio here. The only thing you need to do is then turn, let's see, rock into gravel, and then feed the gravel into the sand crusher, and then the sand can go out into the mixers. But I don't like to use this ratio. I actually think it works out better if you double everything. So we're gonna do that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 concrete mixers. And then for these rotary kilns, I like to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And actually, this one needs to be flipped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because I want them to share an exhaust. Just so we save a little bit of material. So that can come out there. This produces 9 exhaust. This also produces 9, and this can handle up to 60, so we're fine. Now we need to get the crushers in place. So this will be for slag. We need 2 of those, because these are going to need a total of 34 slag crush. This can produce 24, this can produce 24, so we have it covered there. Now on this side, this is where I put the sand. We're going to need 3 times 4, or 12, which is 8 plus 4, so we need at least 2 of these. And then these can be fed by this one, making gravel. And now that we have conveyor belts, I can actually do a lot of the stuff I was going to do over here. So this one's just gonna manifold across. So all of these will join up, go into the storage, and then come around this way to feed into these. Now there's a reason I'm doing it this way, putting the manifold way back over here. Because these need to come up and over onto the same vertical part, and then can go into here. And this way the manifolds stack on top of each other very neatly. This can come over to there, this can come over to there, and then I think these will allow truck import, but not truck export. I think that's the way to go here. We'll let the belts do all of the exporting, but the trucks can do the importing. And then they can still, the trucks still have access to this, so we should be fine. And then, just to make things Complete. I'll go ahead and make the manifold for these machines. Alright, so that's all set up. Back to concrete here. So cement can leave on a flat conveyor, but all of the loose material, like sand, rock, dirt, those all need to be on a U-shaped conveyor. So the slag crush here that comes out of these is going to go to here, up one, and then over, and then in, and then that can link up to, come on, that one. Now the sand here needs to come up twice. Maybe we do this. They can meet here in the middle and then come up. Yeah, I think this will work. And that can go into there. That can go into there. And we have a nice, neat stack of manifolds. Cannot join on ramp. Are you kidding me? Why is that a ramp? That works. And this, I think, isn't going to let me... No, it's not. Okay. Well, we'll cut that, move it over, I think, 2 blocks, and we'll be fine. Good. And good. Okay. Now this can actually be snugged up against this cliff a little bit neater. Maybe about there. And then this is also going to need some rainwater, so let's see. I think it'll fit right about here. I need to save space for the storage containers, so I think... I don't think I can actually complete this yet. But I can do this. So all of this over here can go ahead and start working. And then after ship repair, yeah, then I go into storage and then pick a few more things. I think that's going to be the end of this episode. We got diesel set up. Oh, speaking of which, I need to get some storage on that. Maybe something kind of like this. And then I can go ahead and put in the more permanent generators. Maybe along here. So you can come out there, into here, and then manifold across. Alright. Let's go ahead and unpause that. And let everything build. Gotta make sure that I keep trading for bricks, though. Oh, and now that I have concrete, I can actually enable this second recipe, which allows us to make construction parts from concrete slabs. So now I have 2 different things I can spend my wood on. That... I need to rephrase that. Now I have 2 different things to spend trees on. Yeah, it looks like we've got iron and wood. We just... The bricks and the concrete slabs are always the limiting factor. Maybe I finish this, just so we can get some water stockpiling. And I forgot to set this to prioritize iron. Hopefully these aren't full of stone. Rock and rock. That's not good. Well, we did get the storage just now, so I can go ahead and... Yeah, I guess I'll put it here. This can go up into there. This is where you guys can dump all of your rocks. Truck import on, truck export off. Unpause that. Wait, no, I don't want to unpause that. I want to make sure this is where I want everything. And I think it is, so yeah, I will unpause that. And we have no more research. No. I don't want idle labs. I think at this point it doesn't really matter the order. Let's just do, sure, transport balancing, retaining walls, smart routing, groundwater. We'll actually need groundwater for concrete, so we'll get that one. Fuel stations, not too worried about. I can't actually build a fuel station until I get construction part 2 going, so we'll skip that one. Irrigated farms, crop rotation. Crop rotation would be meaningless unless I get vegetables. And then I guess captain's office, and then a captain's office would be meaningless without edicts. Go ahead and grab blueprints, and then just fill in the rest here. Alright, I think that'll be good. So then the other things I want to set up here, I need a spot for slag. And I want to do this in a very specific way. So that will come up to there. Now that's nice and pretty. Not enough workers, -2. Where is everyone? Oh, I know what the problem is. It's this. And then we can actually truck import off on truck import off. And then I only want one of these working. So I'll pause you and you. So it doesn't take up any workers. Because we don't actually need all that power. Now all that's left is the limestone and coal. Not enough workers again? Why? Oh, right, okay. We'll deal with it, whatever. It's fine. So this one will come out, go into there, and then I'm gonna stack the manifolds again. I think it's just the neatest way of doing things. And that's all set up. Nice. Oh, but this needs to be set not to rock, but slag. Keep full. I should probably tell this one to keep full as well. This one needs to be... that's the limestone input? I think. Yes, so this one is limestone. Keep full. And this one will be coal. Keep full. Alright, I can unpause these, get those filling up, and I think we might actually be at a deadlock right now. That's not good. We're out of iron. These have material, we just don't have slabs or bricks to keep making more. Gotta trade. There we go. We might not have enough iron, actually, to get... I'm gonna pause this because I really need them to finish this. So let's do a construction priority of 1 here. I want to give them a place to dump slag and rock. So they should take these parts and build these first. Alright, got a place to dump slag now. These should get emptied. And then, I don't know why they're building this one. It's on priority 8. This is priority 1. Transport's balancing, thank you, don't care about that. Because even if we do remove the slag from here, we have no iron coming in because these trucks are full of rock. Not good. So we need this to get built so that I have a place to put those rocks. And I'm actually just going to quick deliver here. I don't want to take any chances. So now, these trucks are on their way, good. And when they come back, they'll pick up some iron, and then everything will start working again. So now that I have 50 months of food, actually what I'm going to do is pause this farm to return some workers. That way I can let these keep working. And then I need to be very careful Lost potatoes due to lack of workers. That's fine. I've got 50 months of potatoes. What I need to do here is connect this pipe up to... I want to see if I can get the same... manifold location. Good. Sometimes building in this game is so frustrating. To here. There. It's because of the third-person perspective, or the three-dimensional aspect to this game. It does not work on a screen. Nope. This one. There we go. Okay. So that is all of the ingredients to make concrete. And I guess you could simplify it, getting rid of the slag and using this gravel recipe, but slag's free, and you gotta get rid of it anyway, so we're gonna do it this way. And I'll go ahead and trade again, because I think these should be, yep. Oop. Whatever, I'll do the 25 one as well. I don't really care about that. I have extra trees anyway. What I do want to do... well, maybe not. I don't have enough parts for it. I was thinking about moving this to here, but it's fine for now. Why don't these have any iron? What are you guys doing? Thank you. I guess just because it's so far away, it's taking them forever to get there. And I only have one excavator. What I needed to do... well, no, I think this is more important, actually. Yeah, because if I spent all of those parts making more assemblers to make the vehicle parts to make more excavators, then I wouldn't have been able to spend the parts on the infrastructure to make more parts, which I think is more important right now. I am tired of waiting, so I am going to keep spending my trees. And I think I might actually buy some iron scrap. I usually don't do that, but this is going so slowly. Well, I'll tell you what. You don't need to sit here and wait for all this to build. I already explained the process behind everything, and I basically already built it. I just need to wait for the items to build up. So I think this is decent progress for the first episode. We've kind of avoided the first major disaster, which is running out of diesel. Got some diesel going here, and got quite a bit stocked up. Got some farms down so my people don't starve. We're pretty much at our population cap for now. Got a coal mine going, if you can call it that. And then I've also got some iron being dug up over here. So I think this is pretty decent progress. In the next episode, I'm thinking about maybe moving these farms. I will have this concrete production completed, and construction parts 2 going. And then I think we'll see about getting into some copper. But even bigger plans than that, eventually I'm gonna need to make a little beach, or I'll need to make this beach a lot bigger, so that I can have some docks for ships, so that I can start bringing in crude oil, because that's going to run out. And then I'm also going to need a spot for trees to bring in more trees, because our trees will eventually run out too. And that's what makes this map so difficult. There's just not much space at the beginning. Once you start really moving the land around, you can do a lot with this map. It's just, right now our excavators are so small. Oh, and I will also need to start digging up some of this limestone over here, actually, for concrete. Yeah, I'll save the concrete for next episode as well. But I think that's going to be it for this one. So, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next episode.